marketing and advertising. So this is now what I do. That is basically my genre. And so it is not something that I discovered, just in a nightmare. It took a lot of time, a lot of risk. And I reached out. So if you're somebody who is a newbie, then thank you very much that you joined, because exploring every kind of style is something that everyone should do. Like, I remember when I just started out, I did not know what it was. Like, I tried fashion writing, I tried medical writing, digital marketing, legal, and all sorts of things. So I attended all the webinars and all the content here and there, and I researched everything about. So if you're somebody who is very new and you are, digging up on technical writing, then that's great. You can figure out whether it is something that it is for you or not. And if this is something for you, then all the best. I mean, I will, put all my effort to go through it.
Thank you so much, Astha, for the introduction. And I guess we can go towards the topic. And first you can present the PPT, and then we can take the questions from the audience.
Okay, sure. So yeah, sure. So I'll be just first making you go through what is all the PPT. Then I'll be showing you the PPT. So if you want, if you find something valuable in that, you can take up the screenshot or note down something. And then I will not use the whole PPT to make you understand, because that becomes very boring, and you can find those notes everywhere on the internet. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pinpoint everything that I know so that you can actually feel it. And if you have any question, then you can just unmute yourself or put it in the chat box. I'll take up it. Okay, so let me just give me a second. Okay, so when we talk about technical writing, I hope I'm audible and everything. I'm going to start.
Yes.
So when we talk about technical writing, so you might have heard about all sort of writing, and as the name suggests, technical, you might have a background knowledge of what technical is. So all the technicality. So when we're talking about technical writing, so how do you think it is different? Like, people have a lot of questions in their mind. Is technical writing only for people who have that technical aspect, or who are engineers or developers? So this isn't the case. First of all, it is not. I might say the short answer is yes. If you're not a technical person, you can do that. But the long answer is maybe. Because if you're gonna write about fashion and you're interested about fashion, then that will come out in a whole different way. Likewise, if you're interested in technology, so you'll be willing to write in technology. Because if you all have no background knowledge on tech, you can write about technical writing. But there's a huge difference between liking something and just doing it. So if I am a person who is interested in technology, I am interested in new software, new developments, blockchain, AI, ML, I like reading about it. And then if you start writing about it, you have that background knowledge, and okay, so this new discovery has been made, and you can, just put those facts in your writing. So that is the case with the technical writing. Now, basically, technical writing, what it is just communication of all the technical things. Now, just think about, I can easily tell you, like, just look around you and just name 3 things around you. Like, you might have your phone, you might have your laptop, you might have a charger. So if you have a phone, then you might have a bunch of apps into it. Now, every app has its own documentation, own user manual, own instructions, and everything. That's the whole documentation part that is done by a technical writer. And if you have a laptop in front of you, it also came with the instruction manual, and that was also written by a technical writer. The same way, all your charger, iron, refrigerator, technical writing comes both in hardware and in software. So this is it. And when I talk about the role of technical writing, it's just to bridge the gap between the tech and the non-tech. Like, if you get, sometimes we get things like you have to jumble up and you have to join them and connect them. Like, if we buy a chair from Amazon, then we have to bundle up and join this. Then when we take up the instruction manual, everything written in such a plain, clear way that a 9 to 12-year child can also read it and do it.
Basically a step-by-step procedure for the same, like how to unpack it, how to
Yeah.
fold it, and everything.
Yes, exactly. So this is the benefit of how a technical writer helps you. So in everyday life, what things you see, almost 99% of things have the role of a technical writer behind. And as you might always know, the technology is booming every day. Apps बनना कभी बंद नहीं होंगे, नए software आना कभी बंद नहीं होंगे. This will never stop. So until it never stops, technical writer will be wanted in huge demand. Because as soon as a new app is launched, even on a startup, they need somebody to document the whole process because they need to then sell it on Google Play Store and every other Play Store. Then they have to present it. So they don't allow you to just use the app. They want the whole documentation. So who does that? Technical writer. So this is all about technical writers. And this I told the role. And I also told about the benefits. Benefits as such, it's not simply that it's only used in software processes. Because as you know, technicality is also used in medicine. It's also used in environmental. It's also used in crime forces because everywhere there is at least a hardware or software technical aspect used. And like almost everywhere you see artificial intelligence is being used. Any new app comes, it comes with an artificial intelligence backup. Now, in all those sectors, they need somebody, they need an app for it, they need a development for it, they need some or the other thing related to technical. Now, if you have those things, then you need the documentation behind it. And that is where the technical writing comes. Now, I'll just skim you through the PPT and you can just have a look on it. Is my screen visible to you guys?
Yes, Astha, it is visible.
Okay, sure. So as the first page suggests technical writing, and the next is about what about technical writing. So it's simply the 3 points that I told in verbally, communication about the technical or specialized topics, such as computer applications, medical procedures, or environmental regulations. The second is communication by technology, such as web pages, social media sites, etc. And the third part is the major part when it comes to documentation, that is report building, user manuals, instruction manuals, guides and handbooks, and things like that. And the role, as I told, to cover the bridge gap between tech and the non-tech world. That is the basic aim of a technical writer. So if you're somebody who is, trying to become a technical writer, then you need to have that thing inside your brain that you are trying to communicate a person who is just a naive person who has no knowledge of technical work, and you have to convey all the things to them. So this is the major part of being a technical writer. And the benefits of, as I told you. So this is it. And if you guys have any questions related to up here, you can just tell me, or I can go forward with you.
Can you repeat whatever you told, in a short form, because I missed that part. Only now I have joined. So.
Okay, Dipti, no problem. Have you seen the PPT?
Yes, now I saw the PPT. The final last 2 lines alone I have, understood, because I listened to those things alone. Whatever you said before, I don't know, because I came in late.
Yeah, no problem. It's okay. I'll just go through them in a very short form. I was talking about the technical writing. I was telling everything about technical writing. Like if you just spot 3 things around you, you might see that everything has its own documentation prepared for it, because a new software arises every other day, a new web development and a new app arises every other day. And now when you're presenting to do something, everything in the world needs some paperwork, whether it's legal, whether it's tech, whether it's medicine or anything. So all the written work or the paperwork that is done that is for the technical work that is done by the technical writers. So this is the gist of it. I hope I made myself clear.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So let's talk about. I'll show you the PPT afterwards. The basics of it. Now I'm going to talk about the basics of technical writing, and it is general to all sort of content writing. Like the rules, I'll tell you that is very general to every content writing. But the difference in technical writing is that these are not general and you cannot pass it. These are firm rules, and you have to follow it on every condition. You have to follow these rules if you're writing technical writing. In other writing, maybe you can skip one or two, but in tech writing, you cannot dare miss it. Okay. So the first thing is the clarity. The basic principle in technical writing is clarity. You have to be very, very clear with your writing. Very clear, like clear as a crystal. There's a lot of editing in technical writing. You read after you made the documentation, you have to read it a lot many times. You have to, make that statement run in your head. And if you feel that even a naive person can understand it, then that's your good. That is the best way to edit it. So clarity is your first approach. No jargons, no, specialized words, very pure clarity. But the second part comes is acronyms. Now, what is acronyms? Now, in technical words, there are a lot of, big words like network protocol programming. Now, it's lazy enough. You cannot write network protocol programming everywhere in a document. Now, you can also do that if you write network protocol programming in the first sentence. And after that, you just start writing NPP everywhere. You cannot also do that. So it's very important that the first usage of that acronym, in the brackets, you write NPP. That is, if you're using NPP for network protocol programming, for the first instance, when you use that word, make sure to write it over. After you do that, in a whole document, you can easily, without any guilt, use the word NPP. Without it, it is waste, it is garbage. You cannot do that. And it is not acceptable in any sort of technical writing. This is the second basic. The third basic rule that applies to, and again, all other content writers, use active voice more than passive voice. And in technical writing, make sure that you use a huge amount of active voice and very less passive voice, like the minimum. Now, I will just go skim through what is active passive, just to you get an idea. You might also know what is active passive. It's not you might have studied in your grammar books in your childhood. So while in passive voice, there's a very general rule that I follow and I tell people also. Like if there's a to be verb and a verb related to it, like was generated, is generated, or was formed. Now these are the to be verb and the generated is the participle form. When these two words are there, saath mein, that is the passive form. And you do not have to use that. That is like debarred from using. So it is a sentence that the water is generated from the pipeline. So this is a passive sentence. The water is generated from the pipeline. If you're writing a technical writing, you have to write the pipeline generates the water. This is an active voice. So you have to make sure that most of the time you use the active voice and not the passive voice. And I told you the basic ping pong, how I, find out passive words. It's just simple. To be form and part participle. Whenever you see is doing, was participating, was generating, any to be verb, is or am, was verb, and a part participle form with ed in the end. If a sentence have that 99% of the time, it is a passive sentence. Now you don't have to use that passive sentence. You have to convert it into the active words. Like I told, like the water was generated from the pipeline. Now the active form, the pipeline generates the water. Now this is your work. Now this is how you write an article on technical writing. So this is all about active and passive. The fourth thing is about disambiguate pronouns. Now what is disambiguate pronouns? Just a simple example. You find out Python is interpreted while C++ is compiled. It has an almost cult-like following. Now by the line it, what do you understand? It's for Python or for C++. You never know. It gives user the extra time because now he or she has to perform like what is the writer talking about. And that is the major backdrop around technical writing because you have to make things easy for the user. You have to decrease the process time in his or mind. You don't have to increase it at all. So you have to decrease the work that the Samvera person is doing. You have to make it so simple that he reads it in a go and he reads it while cycling or driving and he gets it in his mind. That is a basic principle. So you cannot use disambiguate pronouns. If you want to use, you have to make sure that what it is referring to. That is why I say do multiple edits. Read it twice, thrice in your brain and let that sentence flow in your brain so that you can understand, the multiple meanings behind it. Because it happens a lot when you're writing and you're writing with a flow, you're writing by your end and you think that you're understanding everything. But now you need, while editing, you need a fresh perspective. You need to be a stranger to that land. And if possible, if you can do it, you can just, share it with your friends or something when you're starting out. Like you can give it to your siblings to read it out. If they understand it and they're okay with it, then yeah, at least if they are 90% able to comprehend it, then you wrote a good article. This is it. So this is about the basic and the 4th point. And the 5th point is the sentence structure. So it is said that always put the more important part of the sentence in the front rather than in the second. Because while writing, it happens that we sometimes use a less important clause in the first part and the most important in the last part. Because we're writing on our perspective. For example, researchers indicated preliminary concerns, yet the antibiotic trial was successful. Now, what is the important thing about it? What failed? Sorry, what was successful? The antibiotic trial. This is something that is important to the user. So always makes things simple. The important thing should be given to the user first. So you make it the antibiotic trial was successful despite the research preliminary task. So the most important thing has to be delivered first, and the second important thing has to be delivered then the second. This is the basic thing. This question. Okay, so until the basic is there, I'll again go through the PPT.
Astha, we have a question. Did you taken that question or it is left?
Yeah, I can take that question.
Yeah. Do you think technical writing is only in demand? What about other writers in different fields?
I'm reading it. Technical writing is only demand. What about other writers in different fields? It's not something that technical writing is only in demand. It does not mean that only technical writing is there. It means that the technical writing world will never disappear. Like people have a notion behind it that artificial intelligence is coming up and content writing will be something that will be ushered down. But we know that is not the case. Even if a robot is writing, you might need somebody to edit it. You might need somebody to put the fresh idea. So likewise, technical writing is not the only thing in demand, but technical writing is something that can never go off demand. I hope I made myself clear.
Okay, we have another question. That does technical writing pay more than any other niche?
Yes, Devina. Technical writers have an advantage to the end. They can ask a plus X amount to compare to other niche. When you're talking about fashion, you're talking about any other niche. The basic logic behind is that there are a lot of developers in the IT field, and you might know, and there are a lot of writers also. But technical writers, there's a dearth of technical writers. But like every day, things are booming up, technology is coming up, and a new technical writer. So when there's a dearth of anything, when there's something that is in minimum wage, you want it in huge amount, you get paid more. So when you quote a price plus X to something, it can happen, and you can easily get it.
Okay, so Chaitra asked that will you be sharing the PPT after the session?
Yeah, I can surely share the PPT.
Okay. Can you share some free resources for who is just starting off with this niche?
Yeah, so Priyanka, well, I also jumped out just 3-4 days before. There's a Google technical course, and that's a very, very fine course. Like I also just gone through, and there are two parts of it: technical course, technical writing course 1 and technical writing course 2. I guess that is the best for beginners or even for people who are saturated enough, because it is in the most basic format that a person needs to know. You can go through it and you can find out a lot of things on that. And in fact, Google is also, provides free technical, videos once in a year. And right now it's going on. And 25th March, I guess, is again in session. You can just go to that technical writing part and you can go through it and you can register for that and you'll get a Meet link and you can join. That will be the official Google course. That will, I guess, 1 or 2 hours. So people who own Google and the people has its own committee, they will be deriving to that course. And I guess that's the best part. If you can, on one session has been done. The second session is on 25th March. So you can join.
Okay. Palak asked, do you think feedbacks are important? What if your client pays you yet there is no hint about where your post is published or the fact that whether they liked it or not?
While working as a freelance content writer, you'll get harsh clients, you get very sweet clients, you get, middle person clients. You cannot expect somebody to give you feedback. Yes, asking feedback is your work. Like, you have to ask for the feedback. Whenever work's done, you can simply ask for it. If a person is not willing to do, it's okay. You gain the money. The basic thing is that you have to take your money because you signed the contract. The money part is done and you will ask the feedback, obviously, as a person you are. But if she is not willing to give the feedback, then that is not your problem. And he or she is not bound to give you feedback. In your contract, it's never mentioned that the other person has to give you feedback. It's good to take feedback, but you cannot force somebody to give you feedback. And the thing about that, the post is published. When you are signing a non-disclosure agreement, that is NDA, the client asks you that you will not disclose that you are working with them, and you will not disclose that this article is written by you. That's a ghostwriting thing. So you cannot, expect that this is something and that he will tell you that this is where my article is published and whether your name is not. That if you get your money and that article that was written by you has that was your property before. Now, once you get the money and you hand it over to them, that's their property and it's done. So after you sign the NDA, then you have to abide by that NDA rules. If not, then they will usually send you the article link. And if you're not writing ghostwriting, so then your name will be published and that will be, your guest blogging that we call. That will be your guest blogging. And it's everything you have to make sure when the contract is happening, that you will be able to know that where your content is going or whether it's not going on air.
Okay. I suck at technical writing. Someone told to write an article of web hosting service providers and I messed up. I am not into technicalities. How can I ace technical writing? Can you suggest a proper framework?
Yeah, sure, Develina. First of all, you don't have to say that you suck at technical writing. Once anybody starts, everybody sucks at everything. Like, once I have taken all negative feedback. I have heard people that I write very bad. After, like, I have worked with 10 plus SaaS companies. Still, in the starting, I've got negative comments. I have got positive comments and I have got no comments. So this is very simple. You just never make up your mind that you suck at work. You don't suck at work. You are just on the process of learning. So, related to the proper framework, first of all, there's no proper framework for any sort of writing, because you are somebody who has a different approach to learn something. I have a person who has a different approach to learn something. You can take technical courses and you can go with it. It's very simple. Now, if you're sucking at technical writing and people are saying that you are not able to write good, you have to first of all understand what the feedback says. Like, what is, if you can dig into your client and ask him that what is it that I'm lacking, what is it I'm doing, and if you want, write an article or send the article that you have written to some of the other technical writer that you find in the community. Send it to them and ask them a review about it. Because people have that right and that's very normal and they can pinpoint your error points. So you don't suck at technical writing. You just have to remove that pinpoint errors. That okay. So if you are maybe you're not able to write the introduction part, you're not able to do that, or maybe the whole style that you're writing is not clear enough. And then these things can somebody who's writing technical writing can tell and can judge you via a technical piece you write. There's no proper framework to write anything. You have to read a lot while technical writing, and you can go through courses, and they just tell you simple rules that this is you have to apply, and this is the basic algorithm that every course in the world teaches. But you'll only be able to improve if you write technically. Write, make somebody go through it, check it out, remove all the ambiguity that is there, and work upon it again and again until you get at least 9 out of 10 of the technical app. And here you go.
Right, and basically building your own framework by seeing what works and what not works.
Yes.
Okay. How much knowledge regarding technology do I need to possess to be a technical writer? Deepti asked this.
See, okay. So that depends on your goal. That if you are working as a freelance technical writer, and if you have an aim to work for Google as a technical writer. So if you want to have a full-time opportunity, then yeah, you will then. And when you're working as a full-time opportunity, you will be connected with developers. You'll be connected with all the whole team member of that, the people who have made the software. You'll talk to them. You'll note down points what they're saying. You'll analyze them, and these things will happen. While if your goal is freelance technical writing, most of the time you might not get very big reports to do on a remote-based work because they don't do that. Because then you need a whole community, and that is not very much possible, though it is going on. So the type of work you get on freelance technical writing will be you'll be able to do. You have to make blogs, you have to make articles, you have to make web content pages. Maybe the most far you can go is that they'll ask you to make an instruction manual or a very simple digital technical documentation. This will be it. And for this, you don't have to cram your head at what it is. And they are very complex things. It's nothing complex. It's very simple in plain voice. And every company has a different structure and has a different layout. And they'll give you your layout. You have to just understand a software that this is it, and write it in plain, simple, clarifying words. But while working with a startup or a new SaaS company, you have to be connected with them. It's very necessary, because when a startup is starting out, most of the time they don't know at least what they want to convey to the non-tech people. They have to be very much connected to them, and you have to learn all the things from the people who are the technical people. If you are going into technical writing, you will not learn how to code. Like if you're a non-coding person, you'll not go to learn code. But yes, if you know how to code, it's a plus point for you. It's not a negative point in any aspect, but it's a plus point for you. But even then, if you're good at technical writing from the basic to the top, and you don't know code, people in your company, people around you will help you and they'll give you code, because you don't have to code something or do anything. You just have to paste the snippet over. It's not a necessary, but it's an advantage.
Okay, yeah. Next question is writing just blogs, articles, social media captions, etc. for B2B?
Can I go on the second question?
Yeah, am I audible? I was narrating the next question for you. Your video is paused. Yes, Astha, am I audible?
Your mic is off, Harshita, it's going on and on.
Am I audible to you now?
Yes, there will be negative comments, obviously. Akhil Gupta is writing just blogs, articles, social media campaigns, etc. for B2B tech and SaaS companies called technical writing. Yes, Akhil, definitely it is. Because if not, then they might have given to somebody who just writes normal content writing. If you're writing things for technical and SaaS company, anything, web copy, social media captions, blogs, articles, research papers, anything that uses technical aspect is technical writing. Like I wrote for, AI for agriculture, AI for, pharmaceutical brands. I was just an article. So it's not saying that it is not technical writing because it's just not related to a software and documentation. It is technical writing because a person who has zero knowledge about AI and has not researched enough cannot write. So if you are using the terms of artificial intelligence and machine learning, that is technical writing. So Deblina, some. Are you saying something, Harshita? Your mic is fidgeting.
I was narrating the next question for you. That
Go ahead.
Some resources that we can consume on daily basis to improve our technical writing style.
First of all, as I told you can go to the technical writing course. And second of all, there are some LinkedIn communities you can join. Third, can simply search technical writing resources on Google, and you'll get some people who write blogs daily on technical basis, and you can make it a habit. Like before sleeping, you can just go through one or the other blog. But this next thing I would suggest you to first of all go to the minimal basis that you see. Make sure that you are able to write technical writing and you at least gain a 40 or 50% expertise on that. And after that, make it a habit to consume always content so that you can update it.
Right. So that was all the questions. Okay, we have a question that from arts background, is it possible to become a technical writer?
From Priyanka, right. From arts background, is it possible to become a technical writer? Yes, it is. If you are interested in technology, doesn't matter what your background is. If you're interested about how an app is working or how a software is coming out, if you're interested in artificial intelligence, cloud, blockchain, cryptocurrency, anything, then yes, obviously you can become a technical writer. There's no aspect on that because the basic point is that technical writers on the jobs sometimes or while technical writers, if you go through it, it's a different thing that I noted down. People sometimes they will written that you require a degree, you require a technical degree, and in some GDs they'll written you require a honors in English or a journalism degree. So the people itself they don't know whether they want the writer aspect or more or the technical aspect to be more. So it doesn't matter what your background is. The basic thing is that you're liking. If you are interested in technology, you can write about it. Simple as that.
Okay, that was all the questions we had. I guess we can go back to the PPT and wrap up with the PPT first, and then we can take more questions.
Yeah, sure. Let me just go. Okay. So the basic question, I guess you guys are able to see my PPT. Are you able to see my PPT? Can somebody just write yes in the chat box because I'm not able to listen to the sound. Okay, sure. The first thing is that I am a tech noob. Will I be able to technical writer? I have already answered that question. And I was explaining this part. Yeah. I was explaining the basic thing, the clarity, acronyms, active and passive point, the examples I gave, the disambiguate pronouns, the same example I told you. And if you want, you can take a screenshot of that this page, or else send you the PPT if you want. I'll go to the next part, and that is the basic, the sentence structure, the same example I told you in the verbal basis. You can just go through it if you want. And that is I am a tech noob. Will I be able to be a tech writer? And I have actually answered that question. Okay, cool. So I'll go with the next part. So the next part is the process of technical writing. Major of you asked the framework. So I'll be just going you through the process of the technical writing. The first thing that comes is the project preparation. The second one is the audience analysis. The third part is the understanding of the user. And the fourth part is the user experience. These are four things. You don't have to get overwhelmed. They are very simple, basic things that are present in rote method. And so what do you mean by project preparation? By project preparation, I mean when you're working on a software, a new software, then you have to sit down with the company that is launching that software. You have to understand what is the project about. Basically, like you're making a dish, so you have to just make a dough. You're making a crust of the pizza. That this is it. This is the base on which my pizza will light. This is the base on which I will light my technical writing. That comes under project preparation. Like you have to do your initial research. For instance, I'm going to write about a cloud computing architecture. Now, on the cloud computing architecture, I have to know the basic details. For instance, you're not a technical expert, don't know anything about cloud. You have time. You have Google, you can research about anything. You can have a basic knowledge of what is cloud. A cloud is something, blah, 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 blah. You have to understand and gain the thing. Now you have to understand what the company wants from you. If the company wants a technical report, or just leave it. If the company requires just an article, a good basic article to put on the blog page on their website to write about cloud computing. So if somebody, an IF person, goes through it, he can understand what is cloud computing. So this is the basic knowledge that you have to understand. That comes under project preparation. Now the second thing, the most important thing, audience analysis. What we see now, the target audience. So target audience affects much that you change the tone of technical writing looking on the audience. Like we basically, on basis of target audience, we change the tone of our writing in all other forms of writing. But in technical writing, you don't. The basic difference is that when you are documenting something, then maybe you have to convey something to developers. So when you're conveying something to developers, a little bit style changes a very little person. And while you are making the user manual for the non-tech people, that is almost the same. You just have to analyze the audience, that this is going to the developer part and this is going to the non-tech. And most of the time, no changes are there. It is almost the same. But just a little bit stuff that you can add some technical aspects a little bit more for the developer part. The third thing is understanding the user. And that is, I guess, the most important part of understanding the user. Because there are millions of things in technical documentations. I'll go further. And that is technical reports, emails, campaigns, handbooks, guides, letters, etc. So while working towards it, there are 5 questions that you have to ask yourself before writing it. Now, for your audience, who are they? Who are your audience? Second, what do they need? Like if you are sending up a refrigerator, then what are the basic things that they need with a refrigerator? They need the basic functionality of the roaster button that they have inside it. They need to the technology of the watt power of the which you will be using. These are things that you have to make it a mind, like what information is required by the samne wala end. Third thing is, where will they be reading it? Will they be reading it on a paper? Will they be reading on a website or on a phone? Deceptive way. Third thing is, why will they be reading it? What is the need of it? Like if something, if you're buying a new phone and it's something you're not able to figure out, you go towards the user manuals and find it out. So you now, when you're writing the user manual, the person has to know that when there will be trouble, the person will run towards the user manual. Simple as that. How will they be reading it? How will they be reading it? Like simple ways. Will they be reading on a mobile and saying it out loud, or is it going to a developer who is using it to make every changes to the product? This is a very important topic. When you're writing for a developer, then the developer will be blind eye, and it will just say that these things have come from the upper order, and they will understand everything from their perspective. This is the thing, understanding the user. Now the fourth part is user experience, and that comes the same thing that in all other traditional content writing stuff. That when a blog is going on a mobile phone, you have to make sure that the important things are first, because once a person is skimming through a mobile phone, it will definitely, he will skim it just in 30, 60 seconds, go through a major idea and run off. If a person is maybe working on a website or on his laptop or on a desktop site, he might have come over and sit there, open the laptop to read it. So these are the things that you have to make it a mind to make sure about. This is whole about the process. This is making the foundation for your technical writing. And once you are working with a good new starter, like say tomorrow a new app is launched and they need a technical writer and they have hired you. Now when a new app is launched, there are a lot of things to do on. They have to do the documentation, they have to make terms and conditions, they have to make every user manual for the non-tech and the tech, both the people. So the most important thing is consulting with experts and research. What do technical writers do is that if they have people in the company who have made it, they talk to developers. They talk about that, okay, this is the software. They have a huge conversation that what do you want? How will they benefit the audience? How will they benefit the user? How will it, what are the basic terms that the user should know about this software? Because you don't have to tell the backend about it. You have to tell only the front end. That, okay, tip top at that button, this happens, that happens, and blah. That's it. So you have to be in good terms with the developer and expert. And it's as it says that every technical writer does not know every technical aspect. So जितना भी आप पढ़ लो, आप हर चीज नहीं जान सकते, वो developer ही जान सकता है. But developer is not good in writing, so there comes your part. So this is consulting with experts and research. And the basic rule about is that, as Albert Einstein says, if you cannot explain to a 60-year-old person, you don't understand it yourself. The basic and the most important part in technical writing is that you have to understand complex things easily. That is the most important aspect. And if you see that, capability in yourself, that you're able to comprehend complex things simply, then technical writing is your job, my friend. Like, seriously. If you are somebody who's very interested, like, it can just really solve complex things, and it can just make somebody understand by giving examples, by giving small things, then that it is. When you are made for technical writing, you can do that. And now there are certain things that you have to understand while technical writing. And so I'll just go through it. The style guide. Learn to follow the style guide given by your company. You know everything about it, but if you're not adhering by the company rules, if they want it in thin format, and you have to give it in thin format, and that's very normal. Second is make your paragraph short enough and only require the basic information. Do not cram it up. Do not ever cram it up. Write short and clearer sentences. Third is the fourth part is after writing your first part. That comes the editing part. After writing your first part, read your content out. Read your content out aloud in your brain so that you can understand, okay, is this making sense? Is somebody who is 8 or 9 years old will be able to make sense out of it? If it is, then perfect for that. And edit your first draft only after taking a rest. Like take a 1 kilometer walk around your house and then come back and the first step with a fresh perspective, editing. Editing is very important technical writing, because if you're writing about something product, for instance, you're writing about an app, and you know everything about that app and you're writing. And while writing, we get lost and we're so excited and we write everything that we want. But you have to understand the user's perspective, that what he needs from that. You have to understand that you only have to convey what he needs it, and that's all. And the other part is the document preparation. That is, a lot of documents have to be made. That is the third part of technical writing. Like you will be writing articles, blogs, you'll be writing social media campus, you'll be writing website content, and then comes the part when you're working with actual technical documentation. There comes a lot of things, and I'll show you the PPT for that. Okay. I hope you are able to see the screen. So this is a thing I told everybody, the process. I'm just making go through once again. Project preparation, audience analysis, understanding the user. These 5 points, very important, very, very important. The user experience. Now consulting with experts and research, very important because no technical writers know every technical detail. That is why I say you don't necessarily have a technical background knowledge. It's an advantage if you know, but it's not a disadvantage if you don't. The Albert Einstein quote and the 6 points I told. You can have a screenshot of it or I'll send you the PDF. And then comes to document preparation. These are the type of documents that are made, and there are a bunch of more. But you don't have to get overwhelmed because nobody knows and studies about technical report writing first when you start writing. Once you enter a company and once a company asks you for that, you start writing on the basis of that. When you're starting with a company, you can, they'll give you a layout and they'll tell you that this is what they need, and you can just write technical reports on basis of this. The layout, there's a common layout for every technical writing aspect, every documentation, but every company has a little bit changes in the documentation and layout, and you can work upon it actually. So you don't have to study writing report writing in a different way or the SOP in a different way. That is not the case. It's almost the same. If you can write technical articles and blogs in a good way, and you will be able to do the documentation correctly. You just have to understand the back-end process, and you have to convey the things that you are asked to convey. And I guess let's take up questions before going for marketing and finding clients. Harshita, let's take up some questions if people have. Then I can go towards the marketing and finding clients over.
Sure. Okay. So we have questions like, is there a difference between content of website of non-tech and tech? Like, obviously, there is a difference.
Okay. So, Chaitra, is there a difference between content of website of non-tech and tech? If you're asking about the layout, then layout is totally dependent on the person who has made your website. The front-end website, and if you're talking about the type of and the style of writing, then yes, there's a huge difference that I told you about the basics. Like while content writing, you will have to use, you do content writing. And for, let me tell you one example. If you're writing for a fashion website, then you have to catch the user's attention. You have to make use of, beautiful captions and, marketing aspect. If you're doing like simple jargons, you can use them, different words to capture the audience attention. Now, you are doing the B2B or B2C marketing stuff. But while writing a technical article, you don't have to market yourself. You never have to market yourself while writing a technical article. And that is the basic rule. And I was coming to that also. That while writing a technical article, you don't have to market that this is the company. And there's a different case, like if you are working with, an academy or an institution and they want, promotional lines 2 or 3 in the last. That's a different other thing. But while writing a technical document, technical article, you don't have to promote anything. You don't have to write with your business marketing approach. You have to write clarity. You have to put down clarity over. That is the basic difference.
Okay, so hope it answers your question. How are the payments in technical writing? Like if you could say some figures, rough figures.
Yeah, basically figures, they depend like there's no constant figures, as you might, if you're in freelancing a long of time, people work for 1 rupee also, people write for 10 rupees also. So you never know, and there's no basic charges that I can tell you. But yeah, like when you are starting out as a fresher for technical writing, like instance for content writing, you are writing an article for X rupees. For technical content writing, if you're starting out, you can add X plus 1 rupee in that. I hope it gives you an idea of that.
Yes, okay. We have a question. Have you written any article for Geeks for Geeks? If yes, how was the experience? Because I feel GFG gets some different for technical writing.
Yes, I wrote for Geeks, but via a third party entry. I was working for Pepper, so they gave me an article to write for Geeks. I wrote a decision tree and what other random forest. I remember this article. That was a pure technical writer article, data structure related, and it's like I did not have that experience to work, with Geeks because I was doing via third party service. And yeah, there are some when there are some rules to follow by writing for Geeks that they give in the documentation procedure. Like while I was working for Pepper, they gave that what the client needs. So that was a simple note that referred that this is what is needed, this is what needed. So simple rules are there, and that is a thing are given that you do not have to use that, and that anybody can read and understand that. And the other thing is simple. I had an idea about random forest and decision tree, but I researched a lot about it because you cannot, I can explain it to somebody like this, what is decision tree and random tree. But while writing an article, you have to, understand, like you have to read. I read a lot of articles on decision tree and random forest and understood what the people were saying because you have to understand the style of writing.
Okay, so that was all the questions we had till now. I guess you can continue with the last section maybe for today's session.
Yeah, sure. So the last and the most exciting part comes out to marketing and finding out, like finding clients, hunting for clients, what I call. So when it comes to marketing, if you want to write to technical writers, make sure that in your LinkedIn headline or wherever you're present with social media, you put it freelance technical writer. Because I have worked with clients and they have actually come to me and told me that we were finding out writers and there were a lot of content writers, but we got very less technical writers. And my headline showed technical writers, so they showed up to me. So it's very important that on the headline you put up technical writers. Very, very important. And now I'll tell you the simple basic rule how to find out your clients, how to market. What is the first thing you do? Most of the people might know it. Target audience. So target audience is something that you poke it out and you go to the person. Now there are 3 types of target audience when you're talking about technical aspects. The first is third party agencies who need technical writers for putting up on their website pages, like IT consultation firms. Go hop on your LinkedIn, write IT consultation firms, IT providing services. You might get a lot of companies who are providing IT firms. You might even saw in your there are companies who are providing web development, app development, cloud, these type of services. Now these are these are a bunch of people who have opened their shops or their websites and they provide in less cost these type of services. Now they have a website. Now they have a blog page. Now they have to, send emails. Now all of this is done. They need some freelance technical writer. Like I have also worked for such companies, and they need somebody for their blog resource page and info technical writers because if you're somebody who's interested in web development, mobile app development, you can search about it if you can understand what the process is all about. It's not very hi-fi process. You can just skim through different places, research about it. Okay, so this is what about mobile development, app development, and you can write a blog on that. So this is the first target audience, is IT consultation blog. Now, the second target audience is, if you go to the depth, that is startup companies, SaaS companies, SaaS software as a service companies. So these companies, if it is a very new startup, you will require a lot of, mehnat on that end because when they are launching a new startup, they need a lot of documentation for that. So they'll require every other thing. They'll need website content. They maybe need social media headlines. Then maybe the documentation and every other thing. So this second part is just SaaS companies. So you can go through LinkedIn and go for people like startups, tech startups basically. When you see the word tech startups, maybe some other people will be finding about technical items. That is the second target audience. Third, I'm not even remembering. Yeah, third is the people. Yeah, the you might have seen in your colleges and schools there are some institutions coming out that they'll say that we are providing ML course, AI course, cloud course. If there are engineers any present right now, they might understand it that they need courses like that. Now these courses and these institutions have their own website. These have their own blogs pages, and you can write for them. Plus, the three things are done. The fourth thing, people can do guest blogging. There are a lot of technical, technical websites to, to give some knowledge to people. Like there are Geek Flare, and you can do the same thing. You can write for Geeks also, but that is very technicality core. Other than that, there are many companies. You can just simply write guest blogging technical writers. You might find a lot of companies and institutions that might be offering you to write an article, and you'll be posting it, and you can do that. So this is the 4 target audience that I tell you, and this is how you can start out your journey. Simple. This is your marketing and finding out your clients. I hope I made myself clear.
Yes, Astha, that was pretty clear. Do you want to present something, or like we can over with the session?
Just give me a second. Yeah, there's nothing much, but I just wanted to say just 3 things. Just let me present it. Like the last 3 things, I would say that when you're starting out as a technical writer, take your time. You don't have to figure out like on the first day of your writing journey that you have to become a technical writer. I started with travel brands, and I worked with a mental health agency. Then I worked with digital marketing and a lot of things. So after figuring out a lot of things, I discovered that maybe this is something that what I resonated. And still I have other options left, because you cannot just rely on one niche. Maybe on 1 month you don't get leads on a definite criteria, so you might have backup for that, and I definitely root for backup. Second is talk to people. Talk to people a lot while writing technical content. If you're writing a mobile app development, and if you have a friend who is a mobile app development engineer, or you might have some people on LinkedIn who are good developers, talk to them. Make sure you go through, because they might be in terms with technical writers. You might have family members who are software developers. Write some documentations and make them go through it. They might be happily go through it, and because they might be working since years reading all the documentation. So they must simply skim it. That it is like they might give you marks that it is 5 out of 10, or 8 out of 10, and then you can improve. And third is, while technical writing is something that a normal person can do, research is the most important thing. So while researching, I mean that jump to even the 6th page of Google. Nothing is present on the first or second page. Everything, the core part of Google is present in the after pages, 6th, 7th, 8th procedure. So research a lot, and you get a lot of filthy knowledge. I guess this is all I have to say by my end. If you have any questions, then we can go towards it.
Yeah, just a last call for everyone. If anyone has any questions, they can write it down here or unmute themselves, and else they can always pin Astha on LinkedIn if they if they have any other questions, and she would take them separately, right?
Yeah. How will I can share the PPT, but how will I share the PPT? I can share the PPT with Harshita, I guess.
Sure. You can send it to me, or either on the group itself. You are there, right?
Yeah. Recording. Is this session being recorded, Harshita?
Yeah, session is recorded, but I'm not sure like when it will be out. But yeah, I'll try to get it out soon.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
If anybody has any questions, then you can go ahead. Otherwise, we can just wind it up.
Any questions or any feedback if they want to give for the session? Okay, I don't think they have any question. Thank you for joining us, Astha. It was a great session.
Yeah, thank you, Bhuvanesh. I am glad you like it. And you can always pin me up if you have any doubt, or anybody who is on. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. Thank